Hi, welcome to Gameolio 69. Yep. Might as well, just leave it blank. You can come up with your own. I mean, we could do that, but I guess everybody would do it. Because we could have a little giggle. But anyway, yes, 69. And we're talking about PlayStation. Last time we talked about Microsoft. Now we're talking about Sony, the PS4, the press conference at E3. I know a lot of time has passed in between, but that's the type of podcast we are. That's just how we are. And
living in the past.
That's right. I mean, if you have kids, this is what will happen to you too. Anyway, okay. So it's just Rich and I today. Hi, Rich.
Hello.
He's a fellow gamer who plays games and talks games too. So could you be a gamer that doesn't... Yeah, I guess you could be a gamer that doesn't play games. You're sort of...
That's probably what I'd be.
Doing a bit of that, yeah. Okay, cool, fair enough. Anyway, yep, cool. Let's get into it. Let's just get right into this thing. And PlayStation... Right, so now I missed the start of it. And when I did wake up and turn it on... Rich said you haven't missed much. Movies and TV, I think they were talking about at the start. So, I don't know, Rich.
No, that was Xbox. PlayStation started, as they always do, with like a sizzle reel, and they kind of give you a little teaser of what's coming up. And then they didn't go straight into the PS4 stuff. They said... We know you're looking forward to that, but we do have these other two things out there that we're trying to sell called the PlayStation 3 and the Vita. And then they did, I don't know, from my memory, it was like, it wasn't even half an hour, maybe 20 minutes of stuff on what was coming up, mainly for the PlayStation 3. There was a little bit of Vita stuff, but like, there's like one or two games. But, we're glad that you bought that system and having fun with it because, we don't know what to do with it. So, great. And so, PlayStation 3, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to remember. Okay, so they showed that Beyond Two Souls game, which last time we saw it was what to me looked like a crime, like a supernatural crime game, movie thing. The last time we saw it, it was the interrogation of Ellen Page's character, whose name I don't know, and now apparently Willem Dafoe's in it as well, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
Or was he last time? Can't remember. Doesn't matter. But this time when we saw it, it was like it looked like a completely different game. So I haven't been keeping up with this game at all, and so that's what I thought it was. I thought it was Heavy Rain starring some A-list actors.
Yeah.
And kind of not much else. And so when we see it next, the unpaged character is essentially Metal Gear Solid 5, which we saw at the Xbox conference.
What?
But with Ellen Page. So it's taking place in a place that looks, Middle Eastern, let's say Afghanistan, possibly Iraq, and she's running around as a soldier in sandy brown and grey environments, killing people and doing sweet parkour moves off of buildings and things like that. And it's like,
wow.
Oh, okay. Well, this game is exactly not what I thought it was.
Totally. I mean, I actually thought it was just another... Because the one before Heavy Rain was Indigo Prophecy, and then in Australia, I think it was called something different. Fahrenheit. And those two games are fairly similar. And it's like, well, you're in a, you got a sort of contextual menu depending on the situation you're in, and you just have to select this or that. Use the broom to sweep the this away, or go and use this to look at a painting. That type of game, with a narrative and a storyline there. So, okay, right. Well, because what I saw sort of looked like it was going along that path as well. Like it was just another one of them, which, but you're telling me it's Metal Gear Solid. This is, okay. Huh. That's a complete, I can't even put a degree to it. It's just so different to what I've heard. Okay, we'll see it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating.
It was just very quick, was it, or?
No, it was a few minutes.
Okay,
but it didn't. Nothing in that trailer. Nothing in what they showed this year looked like it connected very much to what they showed last time. Right. It was like two different games. It was weird. Okay. I'm sure they'll come together. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention. It was kind of early, but whatever. So then they went on to like a Gran Turismo 6 reel, and Gran Turismo 6 looks like every other next gen car game.
Yeah,
it looks really fantastic. The cars look real, but it doesn't make me want to play it.
Yeah,
wow, that's beautiful. It does look like real life.
I think
okay, next.
Really need somebody who knows about these car games, like has played GT 1, 2, all of them up to 5, and knows everything. Like, honestly, just tell me, what is the difference? I know one you can race a car, and then the next one you can race a car. One's online. Okay, technology's improved. Graphics look great every year, but what actually is different?
Perhaps it's the brand of cars. I actually don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just not a sim guy. Like, after, I play a Gran Turismo or a Forza, and then I play a Burnout, and I'm like, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I just want to go to Burnout every single time.
Yeah,
that's what I want to play. I don't necessarily want to play real life.
Yeah,
I want to play something that looks real life, but it's completely ridiculous.
Yeah. Although I will say that GT3 was a nice step up from because that's the game I got with my PlayStation 2, and never was really into the car games, but getting that just to see the graphics and so on was really great. So maybe when the next one comes out, I'll be sort of showcasey and like, yeah, things look real, great. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
So that's that. I'm actually reading off Polygon's
good
live recap so that I don't miss anything. Then they showed Arkham Origins. Which looks like the other Arkham games, except I think the premise of this is it all takes place over one night, even though I thought all the other ones did. But anyway, so Black Mask, the Batman villain, who I didn't know until now, has got one night to get rid of Batman, and that's the premise. And the only other thing I can remember out of this is that one of the DLCs, the exclusive DLCs, was the Adam West Batman model. You could download and play it, which is actually quite cool. That's something I could do. But yeah. It's like, meh.
As long as we get to do the walking up the building. He can't be flying up buildings. He's got to walk up with the rope, the magic rope.
That's right.
And,
with Robin behind you.
Yes. And then somebody poked his head out like Bruce Lee or whatever it was from that. It was, what was it? The Green Hornet. There was a crossover one time. And the Green Hornet, they stick their head out and go, hey, what are you guys doing? Oh, we're just climbing this wall. Okay. Fair enough.
I missed it.
Right, YouTube it. YouTube that thing.
Yep. I'm going straight to YouTube for that. They should have been a Gran Turismo 5, which I just couldn't be less interested in right now.
Yeah.
I was not. What did I say? Grand Theft Auto 5. Sorry.
It's all the same, isn't it? Just one has got theft in it.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Okay. So you're mobby kind of guys shooting up society. Okay. Like, there are other options.
And
now.
this time, the city is 10 times bigger than the last one.
Yeah. I know they're the granddaddy, Grand Theft Auto is, but there are other options now with Saints Row and any other number of open world games. That this one doesn't stand out enough to me anymore. Like it's not just the name doesn't carry that much weight with me anymore. It's just I do have other options.
I mean, I was a Grand Theft Auto fan till about San Andreas, and then it's like, okay, well, it's the next one, and the city's even bigger than the last one, and that probably means it's going to take 3 times as longer, and it's just, okay, it's just get into the car and nice tunes, but yeah, I was just, when GTA 4 was on the horizon, I was just, nah, I think I'll pass. I don't know. I really liked it, and then, yeah, it's just the idea of how big it was getting, how large it was getting. I don't know if that actually translates into more hours played in the game, or I don't know.
It just became kind of intimidating.
A little bit so, yeah, because I'm at this point where I need to sort of know how long a game's going to last before I jump into it. Like, I've always had that thing where if I play a game, I need to finish it before I can move on to the next one. At least I try to do that. And if a game's going to be 10 times larger than the last one, as much as I like the idea, the game and so on, I don't know if I want to play 10 times as much of it to get to the end,
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah, no, I've always had that. Yeah, I've still got Fallout 3 kind of 3/4 finished.
Yeah.
And I do think about it every now and then, like, oh, I've got to go back and do that. And then I just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I definitely sympathize. I think I played about an hour of Grand Theft Auto 4 and went, oh, that's really cool. And then just never picked it up again.
Yes. Yep. To that growing list of games that you've done that to. Yeah.
It's a very big list. So then they showed the PlayStation 4, which, looks pretty cool. Looks good.
Yeah.
Looks like a console, looks like a PlayStation. It also looks a lot like Xbox One. And it's a black box. Some of it's shiny, some of it's matte, and I'm sure it'll look slightly awkward on my shelf.
That's what PlayStation is known for. It has to look awkward.
But it definitely stands out. So, there's that.
Yeah.
It certainly is a more striking design than the Xbox One, and the Xbox One, I suppose, was designed to blend in with everything else, and the PlayStation 4 is supposed to go, hey, what's that thing up there? It's that funky, slidey looking thing. It looks kind of like a building.
Yeah. Yep.
So there's that. And then, is this where you came in? So they started showing some games.
I think I saw, my first note here is Killzone.
Oh, okay. So you didn't see the order? The order 1886?
I think I did see. I just can't remember if it was in the PlayStation or... It must have been. They only showed it on the PlayStation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did see a little bit of that. I can't. That just reminded me of that other game that I haven't played. That's too large to play. From Bethesda,
Dishonored.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of that when I saw it in terms of style.
Yeah, I mean it was a CG trailer, so we don't exactly know what this game is yet. So it could be a third person, it could be a first person, it could be an RPG. We don't know really.
Yeah,
it was a pretty cool looking trailer, steampunky London settings, cool. But again, we don't really know much. So
yeah,
who knows which way it could go. And then they showed Killzone, which is about when you came in, I think.
Yep.
Can't find much to say about it myself.
Yeah, it's...
Killzone?
No.
It was Killzone.
Yeah. It's... I don't remember what they showed, but I do remember the first time that they showed it off, and it was like, yep, graphics look great. First-person shooter. Okay. Yes. Yep. Because I'm currently playing through the Killzone series, and I'm on the first one, which is a PS2 game.
Yeah, right. Okay,
it's a PS2 game, so I haven't even quite made it to the PS3 arena
this an
yet.
HD collection or something?
I believe that's what they've. I actually don't know if they've called it HD. Well, I mean, it's formatted for widescreen and so on, so I imagine they've done something to it. It doesn't look too bad.
But you're playing it on your PlayStation 3.
Playing on PlayStation 3, yes. So I'll be interested more so once I've played number 2, I'd say, to see how this series progresses, because at the moment it's pretty damn bad. Pretty bad. It's like, imagine the worst voice acting, it's kind of, all right, let's say Silent Hill 1 type of voice acting, that type of business. So you've got a lot of that, and this dude with a massive gun, and his voice just ridiculously funny, and not intentionally. He's so macho. He's so, the Coltrane, but the really bad Coltrane, like just really off. But anyway, but I'm still progressing through it because it's been, the Halo killer for PlayStation at the time. So
yeah, I mean, to be fair, this was a long time ago.
It is. That's right.
First-person shooters have come a long way, but yeah.
Yeah. So it's got something in it, and I'll be more interested once I actually get past this and into number 2. And then I'll probably be more interested in Shadowfall. But like I said, graphics look great. I mean, what more can you say? It's to be expected. It's nothing groundbreaking that I saw, really. Not that I can remember anyway, so yeah.
Exactly. I think that's the point.
Yeah.
That's exactly the point.
Yep.
You can't really remember much about it. I'm looking at photos of it now, and I can't even remember it. So I'm sure, they've got a fan base, and I'm sure they're going to do just fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's clearly not for us.
Yep.
So Infamous Second Son is the first time I've actually been interested in Infamous.
Really?
Because it was, and I don't know exactly. Maybe it was just because I had Nirvana in the trailer. I don't know. But
right.
It was like, oh, okay. So there's an aesthetic like the teenager or the young person who's kind of douchey but sort of interesting.
Yep.
And I'm interested to see where it goes. Again, I'm not that interested in Infamous. It's another open world game, and I'm just like, I've got my pick of those.
Yeah.
But
was he wearing a beanie, or was it a hoodie? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, he was wearing a beanie.
Oh, there we go.
Grungy and
that's
edgy.
right. Yeah.
I'm glad I've lived to see grunge come back in, actually. It just validates so many photos I've got me at the age of 17.
It could have been you. It could have been you. Yeah,
could have been me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was like the last thing I remember. I'm just looking through now. There was Knack, which I just can't remember anything about. Did you see that? That was I can't even describe it to you. Yeah.
I don't even know what that is. It does not even sound familiar.
Phuong and Haven are going to be so mad at us.
What was that?
Never mind. Let's move on. So then they had that motion capture Dark Sorcerer thing, which, do you remember this?
I don't.
Where the sorcerer is sort of incanting an evil
spell. Yeah. No, I remember that.
Got a little elf dude there.
Yeah. That's what I saw.
His line.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was a cool comedy skit, but is it a game?
Yeah, what?
I don't know.
What was it? It was like, what? It's Quantic Dream,
yep.
whatever it was. So yeah, okay, maybe it's going to be a heavy rain type of deal, perhaps.
Yep.
But yeah, that's really all you can say about it, really, isn't it? Because it's like, okay, what was it? Yeah, it kind of drew you in. I was like, oh, okay, and then it was a little bit funny here and there.
Yeah.
So yes. Bloody looked awesome.
Yeah, I think it's great. Yeah. What I really liked is how the clip ended.
Yeah.
But the elf guy didn't change.
Yeah.
Didn't show what the elf guy. He still lived in the world, sort of be on the camera.
Yeah.
That was really cool. I like that. But that's really, is it a game? I suppose it is. Is it part of a game? Don't know. Would be nice to know.
It's a typical PlayStation mystery. Perhaps it's the commercial for the next PS4. For the PS4. Don't know. Yep.
So then they did I think what happened next was they did something, and this was the part that sort of really grabbed, I think, everyone's attention, and all of a sudden everyone's going, oh, this is different, which is they didn't just pay lip service to indie developers. They actually brought them all out on stage with their games to show and play what was happening. And it wasn't just one, it was like 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is, that's definitely the point where my attention was sort of drawn to. It was like, wow, okay. Microsoft said they were doing it, and they'd showed like 5 seconds of a couple of indie games, and then they just moved on to Killfest 85.
Yeah.
But here, they actually brought the people out on stage to play the demos of the games and actually bring them front and center on their biggest public outing. Which, again, time will tell how much that actually bears out, but it was kind of, we don't usually see this kind of thing. It's usually AAA, and then a demo reel of indies. You don't have indies taking up, it was only about 5 minutes maybe, but even that amount of time on the stage when you're supposed to be showing the most impressive, visually grabbing kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Oddworld was in there, which is, I didn't seem to just kind of come and go.
Yeah.
But Oddworld is like one of those really cult favorite PlayStation franchise kind of things that, I thought everyone would still be talking, oh my God, Oddworld's coming back. But
it's funny because at the time, there would have been a time where seeing that would have been like seeing the next Sonic or something, or the next Super Mario. It's like, oh, the animation. And it was really sort of just, here it is. Yep, okay. And it's a reboot, isn't it? Or they redid the original, something like that, wasn't it? A redo of the first one.
I can't remember, honestly.
Okay, yep. I was still waking up at this time, yes. Yeah. No, it's certainly good to see them promoting and supporting the indie side of gaming. And to see the guys up there was great and all. But I guess time will tell how much they support them and which type of games we get. And hopefully we get as many as we do in Steam, because there's so many on Steam at the moment. It's a big part of it, and some really good stuff out there. And actually beyond Steam, you have places like ModDB and so on, and they've just there's some creations out there which you'll never hear about, but they're absolutely fantastic. Better than half the games you play this year. So. Yep.
So I mean, let's not make light of it. That was a big move, and it certainly, for me, when I was watching it, was the moment that this really started to go, uphill for Sony. It's like after we'd watched the Microsoft one, and it was kind of a tick box kind of presentation. It was good. They did exactly what they said they would and showed a whole bunch of games, and the games looked great. But this was something more, and suddenly it's like, oh, Sony have actually thought about this. Sony have actually put more than the usual amount of effort into it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it jumped onto the Final Fantasy bit.
Yeah.
Which is funny because it was the guy from Square who's like on video saying, we don't really have time to talk about anything. Watch this trailer.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thanks.
I remember Phuong being quite disappointed at that point because she was like really hanging out for that. Yep.
It's just a funny thing, like he made a 10-second video, and in that video says we don't have time to talk. It's like, okay, instead why don't you just talk for 10 seconds about what you want to talk about instead of saying, I've made this video to tell you we don't have time to talk. Bye.
It's funny because he comes out for the announcement of PlayStation 4 and says, we'll have a big announcement at E3. See ya.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. Okay.
Like, well, when do you have time to talk?
He just doesn't have time. He's too busy making games, tinkering around with games. Oh, dear.
So then they showed a trailer which looked very nice. It looked very Final Fantasy. And everyone was like, oh, yeah, Final Fantasy Versus 13. We all remember this. Didn't you promise this in like 2006? Blah, blah, blah. And then they did what I thought was a really cool kind of, it was such a small thing, but it harkened back to like the PlayStation 1 era kind of reveal where it's like Final Fantasy Versus 13. Oh, no, it's not. It's Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
The trailer thing. It was small and it was kind of daggy, but I dug it. It was old school.
Yeah. Everybody
Which, I mean, at this point, like Final Fantasy Versus 13 went off the map so long ago.
Yeah.
And the funny thing was people were still going, where is this game? Where is this game?
Yeah.
And it was something that like was barely a blip on my radar. Like they announced it.
Yeah.
And then they kept saying it's coming. And I thought, why are people still so hungry for this game that no one ever knew anything about, really?
No, that's right. It wasn't just that they were like asking, where is the game? So you just wait till a Final Fantasy Versus comes out. You people who like Halo and games, Final Fantasy Versus is going to kick all your asses. And they were constantly saying that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
What was really
good move. I mean, instead of dropping it all together, if they've made it if it's a meaty enough game. Well, I mean, they made Final Fantasy 13 2 already.
Yeah.
So at that time.
Yeah.
This game had better be impressive.
Yeah.
But it actually I don't know why. I just cannot tell you why. But just that little move.
Yep.
Actually made me interested in a Final Fantasy game.
It stirred you a little bit.
I can't tell you why.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you why, but I'm actually really interested to see what this game is.
It's probably because the crowd popped at that point in time, and so you were with them too. You're woohoo! Oh yeah. I guess it's interesting that the name has there ever been a Final Fantasy Versus?
No.
What does that even mean?
Who knows? I mean, they made like 4 Final Fantasy 7 games in the end, didn't they?
Something like that. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
There
was before Crisis.
The
Crisis Core,
vampire dude,
Dirge of Cerberus.
That's guy, yeah. And some mobile games, weren't there?
Yeah. So no, but
yes,
there is precedent, of course, for Square spinning off.
Spinning way off.
Spinning out
who
of
are
control.
they fighting? Versus who? Okay.
Versus 13.
Versus 13. Okay.
They were in their own worst enemy.
Yeah.
So then this is the part that Phuong really should be here to talk about.
Oh, yes.
So they dropped Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then online people crap their pants.
Yeah.
Like, oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And again, me, totally, I don't know where, I didn't know there was so much hunger for another, for a Kingdom Hearts game with 3 at least. There's like 4 or 5 Kingdom Hearts games, but...
Yeah. There's all these little sub games and
yeah. I guess this is the next gen version. That's something to be excited
with
about.
Strange titles.
I just didn't.
Birth by
Do
Sleep.
people really love Goofy that much? I didn't know.
They must. What the hell does Birth by Sleep mean?
Oh yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, definitely there's a raging crowd for that game, and of all ages, which is really strange. I mean, I'm the same. I've heard of it, and yeah, okay, it's kind of kiddish. It looks kiddish to me. It's got Disney characters mixed in with Final Fantasy, and about the only reason why I would ever want to play it is because I saw Auron in there in one of them, and I love that guy. But that's about the only reason, just to see a little bit more of him. But apart from that, I've got no interest. But the people are so really into this thing.
No, and you just cosplay thing. I don't know.
If Phuong wasn't here, we wouldn't be talking. Pretty much.
Yeah, okay.
We wouldn't be talking. We'd just be sitting there going, and she would just dominate the entire podcast. But
maybe we should wait till she's here and she can tell us.
Yeah, I might just insert something.
Yeah. We'll see if she listens to this by saying, what can we say here? Kingdom Hearts is a game for children or people who are emotional. Children.
What?
We'll see if
he said that. Word.
Moving on.
Yes. What was next? Assassin's Creed?
Assassin's Creed 4.
Ah, yes.
Which was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's again, I didn't play 3. I've barely played 2 very much.
I've still got your Brotherhood.
Yeah, yeah, you do.
I do.
How is that game?
It was okay. Yeah.
Okay.
It was okay. Just okay.
So again, kind of interested in this setting. It's next gen. Clearly, the graphics look great.
Pirates.
Assassin's Creed. It's pirates. It's cool. The demo froze up.
I did freeze up, yeah, which is kind of interesting, considering you could keep going.
Live.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, it's kind of a good thing, I think, in the end, because it shows that it was being played live. That is what you can expect from it. It looked gorgeous. Yeah. So great. Might dip into it again. Who knows?
Yeah.
Did you play 3?
Yeah. No, I've got it downstairs though. It's sitting there ready, waiting ready, and so is Revelations. But I've got the whole time issue. But I'm kind of interested in seeing what it's about. I'm probably less interested than playing Revelations though, in terms of playing number 3. But I don't know. I was still hanging on through Brotherhood. A lot of people sort of fell off on that game, but I'm kind of hanging on. I'm ready to see what Revelations is. An older Ezio and his mate from the past, from number 1, Altair. See what he's been up to, and but yeah, I don't know about number 4. I mean, yeah, pirates. I guess it's the natural progression, isn't it? I don't know. But
they're just avoiding doing ninjas, really, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right.
Like they've just gone, look,
everybody.
I know everyone wants it. We're just never going to do it.
We'll just go straight to the future or something like that, or they'll go straight to World War II. I don't know.
Next gen Tenchu, make it.
Yeah. Well, see, this is the problem I had with seeing this game. I was hoping Sony wouldn't do it. I was like, well, this is the game that's going to come out on every other console and every other PC. Just stop showing us these things. Show us what's going to be in the future. Even if you've only just send out Naughty Dog and say, oh, well, we've got these pictures. It's going to be about 4-year wait, but there's pictures.
Yeah,
you can look at it. Concept art. Here's the guy who does the voice of that dude. Pretty good. And they'll get excited. Sony guys, all these guys will just lose their mind. But anyway, so Assassin's Creed 4. Was Mad Max next?
It looked cool. So, going from
it was just a big boat battle, wasn't it? For the most part.
Yeah. Well, there was all that stuff on land, then it was swinging from ship to ship.
Right.
And
yeah.
Everything was getting crazy, and then it froze. But, that was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. So going from the indies to Final Fantasy to that, I was like, all right, Sony. What are you doing? This is beautiful. But then something happened at home and I had to stop watching for a bit. So Watch Dogs, I missed the demo of. Did you watch that?
I did. Nothing we haven't seen already. It still looks good. The whole manipulating.
It's another game I just wish I could play without killing someone.
Well, you probably can. I mean, you could probably manipulate the... because it's manipulating technology that's around you. Pretty much. So there may be a way. Maybe you can just stun everybody. Yeah.
I'm surprised more games haven't done that, really, because it was kind of Metal Gear Solid 3 was built on that, and that was really cool. Like you'd knock them out, and then you'd have a certain amount of time to get off the map.
Yeah.
Or do whatever you needed to do on the map and move on to the next area. And I thought that was really cool. I'm so surprised more games haven't done that. I was playing Deus Ex Human Revolution, and I was like, this is cool. I can actually go through this and not kill anyone, or kill if I need to, or if I want to.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I just had a stun gun, and I don't know if there is one later in the game or what, but I was like, man, I would just love this game to bits if I could just stun people and move on. Yeah.
I think there's something like stun darts or tasers or something like that. You get something like that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Another game I'll go back to eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Watch Dogs, which I'm gonna kind of hold judgment on until it's a lot closer and we know exactly what's going on with it. Looks cool.
Yeah.
Looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that. And then I think they showed a bit of basketball. I don't know.
Yeah. Mad Max.
Oh yeah, Mad Max, which
Yeah.
I was absolutely sure was Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, yep, it's Fallout. This is Fallout for sure.
It certainly could have been. It's just when I saw that car, and I saw actually it wasn't the car, it was his shadowy figure, and that armor he was wearing, that piece together armor from Rebel Sport or wherever they bought it to pop on Mel Gibson at the time. Yeah, I mean, it could have been Borderlands for all we knew, but I think it was. I just like the idea that there's going to be a Mad Max game. Apparently, he's going to have an American voice and so on. So some of the Aussies aren't too happy about that. And
it's strange. I mean, if you go back and watch those movies, he's clearly Australian. So I don't know why that was such a problem. But whatever.
It's kind of funny when I don't know where I read about this at some point in time that they had popped. I can't remember if it was subtitles for our Mad Max 1. They had subtitles on there for the Americans because they couldn't understand our accents. Or something ridiculous like that. So just do that. Yeah.
It is an option.
I don't know. But yeah, I'll be interested to see what it actually is in the end, because I think the only Mad Max game we've ever had was some crappy NES title, which could have been Spy Hunter. I don't really know if it was or what it was, but I do remember it's something that had to do a lot to do with the car, and that's all we ever got. So there's opportunity. Yes, just don't make it a Borderlands clone or something.
Well, of course, that's what it is.
Yeah, but don't do that, because Star Trek, I think, did that with their game, and I think they just made Mass Effect, like a Mass Effect shooter.
Yeah, right.
A Mass Effect Gears of War type shooter. It's like, well, we've got that already. It's called Mass Effect. So anyway, yes.
Yep. Yeah. We didn't talk about Elder Scrolls Online because I don't know if there's much to talk about.
Did they show? What did they?
They showed a bit of it. I remember seeing a little bit of it, I think.
Oh, okay. Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know if they showed the first person stuff.
Yeah.
Did they show that? Do you remember that?
I can't remember.
I don't know if I think that's the thing that everyone's hanging out for, is the first person view. We want to make sure that it's actually like the other Elder Scrolls and not just stuck in this third person mode like, World of Warcraft or whatever. A lot of people want to see this as the difference, being able to go straight in there and see your hands moving around, which, I mean, fair enough. It's Elder Scrolls, and you may as well continue on with that. And they have said that they are going to pop it in. It's just no one's seen it yet. So people need to see it to believe. But I'm sure it's coming. And, what can you say? I mean, with all MMOs, you can jump on the hype train for all of them. It's very easy to do. And then they come out, and then nobody plays it. Of course. And then it goes free to play, and then nobody plays it. It's like, people play it, but it's just not the same. It's not the same as the initial launch, That's where you get everybody, or the bulk of the people on board. You got to capture them, and they need to stay. So it's really that first month. Doesn't matter what you show us from now till then. Sure, we'll get hyped up. We'll be there day number 1. Whether we stay, that's the real question, And I don't think anything they show us is going to help in that part, because unfortunately, when you make an MMO, you're not just dealing with the people who program the game developers, the directors, what they had in mind. You're dealing with the other players and the content that they bring along to the game. So it's just, it'll really depend. I mean, they can help that, I suppose, with a proper support team, not just throw them in there and just see what happens. Maybe they can get some GMs in there operating a couple things, dynamic events, that type of stuff. But, like I said, it's just something you got to wait till day number 1 and then see how it progresses through the first month. And then we'll really see what Elder Scrolls Online has for us. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think the easy way to look at it, I suppose, is to say it's just online Skyrim.
Yeah.
Which would be fun because a lot of people did say, well, this is so close to being, an MMO now.
Yeah, yeah.
Why not? Why not just make it an MMO?
Yeah. Certainly, I think even with Skyrim, just the idea of like a cooperative play.
Well, that was the thing.
That's all it needs.
Yeah. It's like
just add.
It's like, oh man, even just co-op, even if it wasn't on, always online, then, and maybe that's all they've done. Who knows?
Yeah.
And just put it over. And for a lot of people, that'd be fine, And for me, that would probably be fine as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see what it ends up being. I mean, the other question is, how do they push it? It's the kind of thing that you'd really want to push online. Would they sell it? Of course, they'd sell it in stores, but then you get into that.
Yeah.
I'm overthinking things a bit too much now, but yeah.
Yep.
Let's move on. So I think that was kind of the end of it.
That was so that was the end, but it was also the beginning.
It was the beginning of the megatons of the foot stomping of Microsoft. So it's kind of really, a couple of weeks have passed, and what was really, people were afraid, I think, is that there was, at this very moment, before Sony kind of brought it home, there was a fear that they would follow in Microsoft's footsteps as well, because everyone thinks that everyone wants to go all online, all the time, like digital. The most simple thing to think of with Microsoft is that they wanted Xbox One to be iTunes for games, in that you bought what was the iPod, or which is your Xbox, and you bought it from one specific store, which was the Xbox One store.
Yeah.
Of course, there's no other place to buy these games, so it's there's a bit of gray area there already. But that the platform holder would control everything. And for me, like, I just thought it was a dumb idea. I wasn't frothing at the mouth about it. Like, I wasn't going, consumers' rights, rah, rah, rah. I just thought it was a dumb idea, because we'd had that experience, which we've talked about a lot, where we bought Double Dragon on Xbox Live.
Oh, yes.
And then all of a sudden, no warning, no nothing, we go in to play it and we can't play it anymore.
Yeah.
And we have to go online to do research to find out that the people who published it didn't have the rights to it anymore.
Yeah.
So your game doesn't work anymore. And if Microsoft or Xbox control all the games, say I'm playing Halo, or say I'm playing Halo Reach, and all of a sudden they go, yeah, we're turning that off now. Like, you think, why would they do that? Of course they wouldn't do that. But there's nothing to stop them from going that step. We want you to play the next Halo, so we're turning off the other Halos.
Yeah.
There's nothing to stop them from doing that. And you buy into their user agreement, and you do that, or you just don't play the game. So you want to play Halo 5, you sign up to the user agreement, which says that we can turn this game off at any time if we decide we don't want you to play it anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what sort of, that was the wrinkle in it for me. That was the one thing where I was like, okay, I think eventually we are going to go all online. I don't think it's as big a leap as people are imagining it to be. It's kind of like Steam. The problem is that with game consoles that live under your TV, we've had decades of history that if you wanted to pick that thing up, well, pick up the disc and go to your friend's house and plug it in, that's what you do. And that's where they were more like toys.
Yeah.
We had that experience. You don't necessarily pick up your PC. You can, of course, pick up your PC, take it over to your friend's place, plug it in, and you're good to go. The way they got around that was saying, well, you can download your games anywhere, anytime. Great. But a 25 gig game in Australia takes forever to download.
Yeah.
If you're at your friend's place, you've got hours and hours and hours and hours.
And then, okay, I got to go home.
Play that game. Yeah, exactly. And then the afternoon's over and you got to go home.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a perfect solution. The ecosystem wasn't there for it yet, and people were really scared. It was like, are they going to push us in this direction that not everyone can follow? Not to mention that, broadband isn't everywhere. It's fine if you live in the city. If you live in the country, no.
Yeah.
Great parts of America don't have that access either, and this is who you're trying to sell it to. So what's the solution for that? Of course, it didn't help when Don Matrick comes out and says, well, you just buy an Xbox 360. Like, no. So ultimately, yeah. So we get to this point where Sony are like, all right, guys, you've seen what we're bringing out to the table. And then they go, and we're going to support used games. And as a lot of people have pointed out, they didn't say anything new. All they said was, hey, we're going to keep doing what we've always done.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to poo-poo that and think, well, they didn't change anything. What's the big step? No, the big step was they didn't follow Microsoft.
Yeah.
That was what they were saying. They were like, okay, we've considered this, and actually what we want things to be the same as always.
Yeah.
You pick up your PlayStation 3 disc, your PlayStation 4 disc, you take it over to your friend's house, you play it. That's what we want you to do. And everyone was like, oh, thank God.
Yep.
Like, it was a big moment of relief, and people are now saying that it was just a moment of huge Sony fanboyism, of course, because everyone has to reduce everything. But no, it was actually a really scary time there for a sec. And Sony, even whether they intended to or didn't intend to, whatever they leveled the playing field.
Yeah.
It was like them or us. This is what you go for with PlayStation. That's what you go to from Microsoft.
Yeah.
And it was a very clear division for about 24 hours. And so that's why everyone went absolutely crazy. Everyone was like, oh my God, Sony wins, Sony wins.
Yep.
So I don't know how you read it, but like I can count on my hand the amount of times I've traded in a game. And like you and I, Phuong, are the only people I can think of in the last decade I've lent a game to.
Yeah.
So it's not like it really affected me, but that was sort of my reading of it.
Yeah, no, it was very interesting. I mean, when Microsoft, announced their features and so on, it must have been like so beautiful for Sony. You know, it was like, well, we've got a couple of games that we can show off, and I guess there's the price thing and what the console looks like, of course. But what did Xbox just say? Oh my God, that's just given us the most brilliant ending to our little conference that we've ever had. Thank you for that little Christmas gift, because all they did really was come out and say, well, PlayStation 3's got this, and we'll make it on the PlayStation 4 like that too. Woo! Oh, that's brilliant. All I'm doing is saying what we had on the previous console and getting the woo-woos. So it's just such brilliant timing for them. And, you know, whoever wrote that little part into the press conference was, must have been very, very happy with with what had happened. I mean, you know, it's great that, they did take a stand and so on, but it's just, I think it was just the timing, really worked for them so well. And being able to announce that at E3 as well. And then following all that, the price, it's just like, let's just put that right up here on their wish list,
So this was the moment that that Microsoft, I don't know, I would have loved to have been in Microsoft HQ when this dropped.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about this was that the slide they put up, all of their slides and their animations look so slick, but the one they put up with the price looked like it had been done on Photoshop in 3 seconds. It was like a photo of the PlayStation 4 with a white background with the most plain text with the price on it. It literally looked like someone had done that during the conference. They go, someone quickly put this up, quick. So what's obvious is they waited until Microsoft announced their price and then decided on what their price was going to be. Yeah. And they've talked since then, that $399 was their $399 US was their sweet spot. It was like, if we could hit this, then great. Wasn't always where they were headed. But if we can do this, then great. I mean, who knows how much money they'll make or lose on every PlayStation 4 now. But it was one of the biggest bomb drops that I've seen in my time of watching games. And if you look at it objectively, it was like, great, this is $100 less, who cares? But it was like the 1-2 punch of, we support used games, we support disc swapping, we support all of that. You're getting most of the games on our system that you'll get on Xbox One. By the way, $100 less. It was just the 1-2 punch.
Yeah. Yep.
That was good of it. And so it was a brilliant moment to be there to watch the internet again go absolutely bananas.
Yeah.
It was a great moment.
And following anything with Xbox on Facebook, like the Xbox Australia, anything that they posted up, it didn't matter what it was. They could have said they're giving away free games right now, and you just go and look at all the comments. Done with Xbox. I'm done with it. PS4 all the way. Blah blah blah. It was just ridiculous. It was crazy, but it was good.
It was a bloodbath. Yeah.
And Sony must have just been smiling that whole time. Yep.
Yeah, I've never seen like a surge.
Yeah.
Of goodwill and ship abandoning.
Yeah.
Then in like just the hour or two following that, it was like this wave of euphoria swept across gaming, and PlayStation could suddenly do no wrong.
Yeah.
And what's hilarious to think about is if you go back to the last console launch, it was like the positions were exactly switched. Like Sony came out with the most muddled and confusing launch marketing for PlayStation 3. No one knew what it was. It was really, really expensive, more expensive than anything had ever been ever. They were saying, well, if you want to afford one, just get a second job. You'll be fine. All those sorts of things. Yeah. Some of them had backwards compatibility. Some of them didn't. It was a total mess. And Xbox 360 just came charging through like a white knight.
Yeah.
And it was like, we've got all the games you love. We've got this massive this storefront Xbox Live. It works with one button press. Everything's easy. Everything's great. It creates sunshine and rainbows. You love us. And coming out of this E3, the positions were exactly switched. Everyone loved Sony, and no one knew what the hell Microsoft was doing.
Yeah.
It was just fascinating to watch.
Certainly was.
Yeah. And So then they went into Destiny. I don't know what else to say. Like so much has been said about it. I just think it was one of the most brilliant moments of marketing I've ever seen, of conferences I've ever seen. It was just this massive. It was like this build-up of moments and consequences and messaging, and it was Sony cresting the summit with a shiny golden sword in one hand and a diamond shield in the other, and being the hero of everyone. And it was just a brilliant moment to watch. It was so good.
Yeah. No, it certainly was. And, considering now what has happened with Xbox.
So, I mean, do you want to say anything about Destiny before we move on to the next thing?
No, well, look, Destiny looks, it looked good, but it's another one which is just kind of like, well, it's kind of got to wait and see a little bit more and see what it's all about, what it's totally about. Because the initial impression I get is that, you're going to be able to explore certain worlds and maybe, hopefully, large areas with a buddy. If you wanted to go in there, and there'll be missions to be done and so on, but you can free roam if you want to. But it's just the limit of how far you can roam in said world. That's what I would like to know a little bit more about. So, I mean, for what they showed us, it looked better than Halo. The graphics have evolved.
It did, but it looked a lot like Halo.
It played a lot like Halo, for sure. But graphically speaking, it looks as you would expect it to look a little bit better.
Yeah.
But
the funny thing with this, and I felt it with a lot with I think with Titanfall as well, is it didn't look like anything new. It just looked like a collection of things I'd seen before. So it looked like all the first-person shooters look like Battlefield now, to me. Like that, there's something about the lighting and the color scheme that differentiates it from Call of Duty. And I can't describe it, but the second I see it, I know it.
Yeah.
Battlefield, that's that. And the second I see Modern War, Call of Duty, I like, right, that's Call of Duty. There's something about the color palette and the look and the movement that's just, it's instantaneous. You can tell the difference. This looked like Battlefront and Fallout and Halo kind of mashed together.
Right.
I like all of those things, so great, but it didn't strike me as anything new. Like, I didn't look at it and go, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of got that feeling once I saw some of the concept artwork and so on of all their classes and the enemy units and that type of thing. When I saw that, I thought, well, I hope they're not doing this, but it kind of feels like they're reskinning Halo. They'll just take Halo and they'll just reskin it, and not totally reskinned. We'll just take elites and just tweak them a little bit. That's what you got here.
Those enemies, the Fallen or something, look exactly like Elite.
It's like almost exactly the same as, well, okay, we'll see. Guys did produce some games which I did like, and I have played quite a bit. So, I just got to wait and see what you've got, see what happens, see what comes out at the end. I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's not like when I first saw it, I was just like, whoa, I'm falling off my seat.
Yeah.
Let's do some crack. It's just,
like.
Yeah. So it's.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing for me. I don't know how you feel about this, but I see a game like that and know that it's persistently online. I go, do you know what? I'd probably want to play this game a bit more if I knew there was an end to it.
Yeah.
So, which makes it like a campaign. So there will be constantly objectives and things. But for me, knowing that, I don't know how it's going to play out, is if there's a map and you can actually go every single point on that world and do everything and then go, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Or if it becomes, I don't even know what. I don't play enough, MMOs, or really anything online to know for sure.
What I'm hoping is that it's more like Fallout.
Yeah.
In that you've got a massive map and you can just roam around and be like, what's that thing over there? Let's go check it out. There happens to be a 5-story underground bunker in this thing. Why am I here? No reason to be here. Just go check it out.
Yeah.
Like, I want that type of experience, Sure enough, you can you put your campaign on top of that, but being able to free roam and they've actually put some imagination into the world that they present, or worlds, or whatever it's going to be. But yeah.
Speed box, though. I'm in.
Sorry, what? No, you're breaking up a bit. Speaker, what?
Speeder bikes.
Speeder bikes, yeah. Why not?
I am in
like Flynn, for sure. Yep.
So that's kind of it for Sony. And then, what was it, 2 days later or something like that? 3 days later? No, it was after E3.
Yeah, it was at least a week, I'd say. Yeah. The
Microsoft dropped everything.
Yeah, pretty much. After they were saying, like you said, Matrick was on about, you'll just get a 360. It was kind of like, wow, that's pretty final right there. And Microsoft, I have this vision of them being just stubborn as hell and they wouldn't go back on this. But, what has been tossed around the internet, the whole 180, the overused 180, It's happened.
But so accurate.
So accurate. There's nothing much else you could say about it. It definitely is a 180. No. I mean, it's like, we're going to do all this stuff. It's revolutionary. We're not going to do this stuff. Forget about it. It's like, what do you just want to raise the last month or two, or what do you want to do? So.
Oh, not the last month, like the last 4 years. Surely.
Yeah.
This was always their plan, and they've absolutely torpedoed it. Like, this was the foundation of the entire system.
Yeah.
And they've absolutely just dropped it. And you kind of go, God, what are the implications of this? And you can see one of them in that they came out and said, look, when you first buy the system, you need to go online at least once to activate it.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's the only time you need to go online. And you're like, okay, but still, some people can't ever go online.
Yeah.
This is still a problem. So, I mean, my reading of it, and this is pretty much the consensus, is that they came out and the funny thing that's happened is now we know more than we ever did about Microsoft's online plan after they dropped it.
Yeah.
Because they came out and explained exactly what they were dropping. We're like, oh, why didn't you just say that? So it's been like the biggest failing of marketing that I can ever remember happening. Like, they just plain failed to explain what they were doing.
Yeah.
That everyone had so many questions after their launch, and instead of coming out and saying, all right, we weren't going to say anything about this until after E3, but here's how it works. We're going to show you how it works. We're going to show you how game sharing works. We're going to show you why this is the way forward. Instead, they said nothing, showed a bunch of games at E3, and then again said nothing. Well, they didn't say nothing. There were executives out there, and some of them were saying this, and some of them were saying that, And everyone was just going, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Explain this thing to us. You're getting murdered.
Yeah.
And I think it was just kind of arrogance and hubris. And they didn't actually come out, and all they needed to do was like show us what this is, even if it's just, you know, a made up demo. Just show us what you're heading for.
Yeah.
Because no one knew, no one understood. Why was this good? Why are you doing this? Explain it to us. Show us why it's good. And instead of doing that, you know, the first sign of trouble, they went, oh, well, we just dropped it. The whole plan for this system, we're just going to drop it.
Yeah.
To which I go, okay, so where are we now? Some people can, I mean, my Xbox 360 is always online when it's switched on. For those people, are the features going to be the same now, or have you dropped everything? Are we going back now?
Yeah. Yep.
It's just, it's kind of, again, it's kind of clear, but kind of confusing.
Hello, Rafi.
So now how's it going to work?
Yeah.
Sorry, there's that. And sorry, I'm talking too much. But you know what I mean? It's like, so where are we now with this system?
Yeah.
You've dropped everything. Okay, great. What's good about it?
It's pretty much what you've got already. The funny thing is they had that, the one thing that was interesting, and I didn't fully understand how it worked, was the whole sharing with family, which has been dropped.
Yeah. So as I understand it, and again, I'm not sure, is that when you were finished with a game, like once you shared a game, I think you couldn't play it. So you could essentially gift it to someone.
And
is what I understand, as I understand it. So you gave them the license to play the game in you know, legal terms. And so they could play it. And then once they were done with it, I don't think they could gift it on, but they could say, okay, I'm done with this game, and you could gift it then to someone else.
See that?
So you had 10 people on your gift list, or your friends list, or what they were calling your family list. And those are the people you could share full games with.
Took that out.
Yeah, it's gone. However it was going to work. I mean, that sounds fascinating to me. Like, that does sound like a good idea.
It's like,
but again, we never really heard the details until they took it away.
That's right. It's like, you know, okay, I understand you want to revert and so on, because not too popular of a decision to go ahead with those particular items, but some of these were actually okay and weren't in need of an online presence 24/7 type of thing, but you're taking that away. So you're doing the right thing by getting rid of the bad stuff, but you're also getting rid of the good stuff.
Yeah.
The stuff which may have been good enough to be over the top on the PlayStation 4. No, we'll just bring it to the level, and that'll be good enough. Because the games you play on PlayStation 4, you can't play on Xbox One. You can't do vice versa. We got Halo 5, which we're not calling Halo 5. This is called Halo. We don't know what it is.
Yeah. So, I mean, the other question, of course, is do they bring this stuff back later?
Well,
do they slowly introduce it?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it, those items, they said to be brought back at a future date. You know, some of the sharing, I think it was, and something else.
Yeah.
The bad stuff, at least, it sounds like they've totally taken that away for now. But yeah, the good features there seem to be in have been knocked back for a little bit. So I don't know what that's all about. Whether PlayStation 4 comes out, okay, now we'll release that so we can one up them. Even though we've already mentioned what this thing's all about, and PlayStation 4 is probably integrated into their system by that stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's you know, it's funny. The whole E3 thing was pretty much a snore fest until that last bit of the PlayStation 3's conference. And it was just pretty much them beating up Xbox. You know, it was just something to watch. We were watching a WWE fight or something, and the other person just totally getting smashed, you know, getting put through about 5 tables and unable to move, you know. So
at some point, you're just like, Sony, just leave them alone. You've taught him his lesson. Just leave him alone.
Yeah.
Oh, God, what are you doing to the body? Just leave it. Walk away now.
Yeah. So I don't know. And there's still time. There's time between now and whenever they're releasing end of the year. So who knows what could happen in between then and now. And there's another event, isn't there, in between?
There's a few. There's Tokyo Game Show, which is which should be pretty big. I think is it CES? Yeah, you're right. There is something else, and I'm forgetting it, and it's quite big. But there are other opportunities.
We've got the one that's in Australia. What's it called? Penny Arcade. PAX. They're having that.
There's going to be.
There won't be anything. But is there other ones in America during this year, or they already had them?
Yeah, there are. So I suppose there's PAX. Yeah. But I mean, really, whatever they're going to do, they have to do it soon.
Yeah. Maybe it'll just be a constant back and forth all the way to the release date. Keep it interesting.
Oh, it's going to be great. Keep
it interesting.
What's interesting, I mean, I was sort of going in my head, maybe I'm done with gaming now. Like, this generation has been excellent. Yeah. And do I need to play any more first-person shooters? Probably not. Do I need any more third-person action games? Probably not. Do I go back to it? I'm like, I could probably leave it. This is a good place to leave it. I've had a good run. And then coming out of the PlayStation 4 conference, I was like, oh man, PlayStation 4. As if they dropped Last Guardian.
Oh, Rich, don't torture yourself, mate. Don't torture yourself.
I know. But can you just imagine if that's what it was? They drop the price, like they come out of the Destiny demo, they drop the price. Everyone's actually just going apeshit, and then they go. And here's one more thing. Last Guardian coming out Christmas this year. The place would have just absolutely fallen apart.
They could have just released it that day.
Oh.
They could have just said, guess what? Turn it on. Press the on button. Have a look at the store. Have a look what's there. Yeah.
That would have been amazing.
Yep.
But it didn't happen. And look, who knows when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I live in hope. But so Microsoft have a lot of butt kissing and catching up to do. So we'll see what happens. I mean, there's not much to say really about Nintendo, is there?
No, not really. He came out and he showed us games, which was great.
Only you couldn't watch it because the stream went dead. And
the stream, getting the stream up in the first point. Yeah, just from Nintendo.com. .au.com, one of them, which had the stream on their side, couldn't even get it up. I had to refresh a zillion times, and I think it was 5 minutes maybe into it that I actually managed to get it up. So, anyway, yes, all right. Well, look, probably a good place to leave it too. We will have Phuong and Haven next time, and they will be talking about their thoughts on Sony, I believe. So, like I said, we could probably just get Phuong on solo for number 70 and say, Phuong, remember? Kingdom Hearts. See you later. All right, we're out.
Yeah.
And that'll be a podcast.
We'll come back in an hour and a half.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll just leave it there. People got things to do, places to be, and I really need to get a loo. Been holding on. You didn't even know that. I said it. All right, Richie, thanks.
Podcasting magic.
Thanks for being here, Richie. And
hey, thanks for having me.
And we'll see you all next time. See you later.
Bye. PlayStation.